welcome to episode 24 of Jeremy Makes Stuff. Last week didn't have a video, it was Valentine's Day. Very important. The week before was a little bit different from the garage and doing some design stuff for my lathe. But this week we are back on the Wi-Fi controlled piano player, and as usual I'm tweaking a few things around here. The audio is set up a little bit differently, camera set up a little bit differently, and I've adjusted some layout here on the screen as well, so hopefully everything's looking good and coming through. Still, one of the things I need to get used to and figure out how to do is monitor the stream as it's going on. But anyway, let's get started. I almost said let's get dangerous. What was that? Darkwing Duck. So yeah, let's get started here. I'm going to switch over to the laptop. And so the ESP8266 is going to communicate with the Arduino, and I'm thinking the best way to do that would be over the serial port, because, or a serial connection, because the both devices have the pins for it. The communication can be two ways, so the Arduino can give some feedback, and it's a little more robust than just using, a handful of GPIO pins to signal on or off, on or off. You can actually send, information. We talked before about maybe doing some bit masking to denote different things, and we've talked about a lot of stuff, right? So rearrange my mice here so that I don't keep grabbing the wrong one. Alright, so the thing we need to do here, let's see, I'm going to pull up a little notepad, plus. Oh yeah, all kinds of stuff going on here. Okay, so what needs to happen here? So we have the ESP8266, and it's going to connect over serial to the Arduino, and so we have, let me pull up the code we have so far for the ESP8266, because we had it worked out so that there was a user interface. Here, ESP server, and we wrote some HTML. Okay, so it's been what, 3 weeks, and like I said before, I'm now working on these projects outside of the stream here, so trying to keep up, get back up to speed here. So we already had it working so that we could click a button and it would make the LED turn off and on. So what I'm going to look at then, I'm going to do a little Googling here. ESP8266 serial connection. Here's from randomnerdtutorials.com, sending data from an Arduino to an ESP8266. which is, I mean, we want to do two ways, right? But it's basically the same thing. And that is the Arduino there in this code example. Creating a serial connection, sending a message every second. And there's the ESP8266. This? This is using Explorer, which is not what we're using here. So let me see here. Arduino IDE ESP8266 serial communication. Yeah. And that's just through the through the serial monitor that we were seeing before. I think I need to see the ESP8266 pinouts, because I know there is a, and it's actually Node MCU that we're using right now, right? Let's see. Here's a serial 0. Here's 2. Here's transmit 1. Where's receive 1? That's interesting. Let's see, is there another one? Alright, well, anyway, so transmit and receive. Here's the hardware serial port. Now, when connected to the laptop, I think it uses the hardware serial port to actually handle the communication there. So we'll want to use this software serial port here. Actually, I don't know if this may have two hardware serial ports. Hardware serial. Yeah, this conversion stuff. It's the same. Well, that's still just using the hardware serial port here, though. How many hardware serial ports does the 8266, oops, ESP8266 have? Okay, it does have two hardware ports. 1 and 3, and 2 and 8. Okay, that's why it only had a transmit in the screenshot here, because 8 is being used for programming. Interesting. So then I wonder what this transmit receive 2 is. Because it's listed on the image in the different places. Okay, well, it's serial 1. So, okay. So I think I need to make I'm going to make a copy of this sketch so that I don't screw anything up here, which could happen. I'm going to say ESP server serial. And where did I set my Node MCU? I just had it. Let's see here. While I look for that, how about let the 3D printer show up on the view there for a minute. I've actually got a couple of prints running right now. This one is a bunch of spaceships. I'm doing a sci-fi RPG one-shot with some friends on Friday. So I'm printing up some ships, and I have some other terrain already printed up. Seriously, I just had... Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. And... what did I do with the USB cable? Is this the right one? Nope. Apparently I'm not going to be very organized tonight. And it did start a little late, but it's also a day early, so I'm not sure if that really counts as late. Alright. Where did the USB cable go? Let's see here. I think... well, I can take the one off my lamp. Oh. Is this it? Nope, that's the wrong one. Ah, found it. It was plugged into my tablet. Okay. Get this in there. Alright. So anyway, yeah, this is, there's a large battleship here, a smaller kind of cruiser, and some strike-type vessels, and a little, like, shuttle. Gonna have a little, combat with those. Alright, I'm gonna switch back here. There we go. And I do have the, got Node MCU hooked up USB to the laptop. Found both it and the USB cable. Let's see. And I'm not sure if the chat is working. I was having trouble with it 2 episodes ago, 2 or 3 episodes ago, where it wasn't showing up on the screen correctly. So you know, somebody send me a message or something. I see there's a couple of people watching as I flounder around here a little bit. But somebody send me a message and let me see if it comes through, because I'm still not certain I've got that set up correctly here on the broadcast desktop. I know last episode when I was using just the laptop, it was working out. See if I send a message. Oh, okay, cool. So that's working out. All right. So all right, I've got the ESP8266. It's plugged into the laptop. Got the copy here. So I want to. I'm going to switch over to its network. Passwords Rocket Man. And this is what I love about using the 2 different machines. I can use other private networks on my laptop and it still stream. Hey, Flip. Cool. Thanks for hanging out here a bit. I know you were working on some code yourself. Interesting stuff. All right, connected to that. And what was the IP address? 192.168.4.1. What was it 42, 42, 42, 42? Huh. Yeah, because it's not the default. We've specified that. Whoops. 42, 42, 42, 42. Alright, cool. So we've got the uptime. Brightness doesn't really matter because we don't have the flip, just wave at your computer. Hey man, just keep waving. I'll wave back. We don't have the sensor hooked up to it that the example had before, so it's just brightness is 1, whatever. LED off and on. It turns the LED on the board off and on. Oops. Lost power. There we go. Did I lose the network? I was moving that around and it came loose in the cable. I need to set that over to the side so that I don't do that. Okay. Reconnected. There are a lot of networks around my area. Okay. Disconnect and try and reconnect. That's one thing I've noticed with the ESP8266 and a few other things I've used it for is it may be working fine for a little while and then the network just stops. So I don't know if that's just been my code, which is definitely possible, or some other limitation or something. Okay, let's see. Yep. Alright. Refresh now. You can see the uptime is running. So this HTML is deep down in here. And so we had a couple of handlers and then some HTML. So let's see. I'm going to add a link here that when we click it, it'll send a message to the serial port. So whoops. Which port am I on? Where is my port selector? That's the right board. Ah. Interesting. Alright, well, let's see. Let me switch USB ports and see if the COM port will show up. Some nice cold water. Okay, back up for 15 seconds, 22, yep, okay, cool. Do I have the COM ports? I don't. Oh man, I bet this USB cable is power only and not data. I've got a few cables like that. I don't like them so much. So basically, what has happened here? So the way the cable works, there's actually 4 wires usually inside. It's like a positive, negative, send and receive for the USB communication. But some of the cables only have the power, positive and negative, and no send and receive. The other 2 wires aren't actually there. That can be safe if you're trying to charge a phone or something and you're somewhere you don't trust. But that doesn't help if we're trying to program a microcontroller. So, let me see here. I can take the one from my light. See what that does to the display here. Turn off the light. That's not so bad. Alright, so I'm going to take that cable. Here. And this one I know is a good cable. It's the one I usually use, but I move the light because, like I said, I'm always trying to adjust things and make it better. We'll see now if we get the oh, there we go, COM3. Cool. Alright, so I'm going to switch back to network. I just heard my kitty cat. She came to visit. She can be noisy sometimes. Especially if I'm up here in the office and it's like, 2 in the morning. She'll come up and be yelling at me. Come to bed. Cats are great. Dogs are good too. Alright, and connected, and do the serial port again. Yes, COM3. Okay. So we're connected to serial port. Or at least we can now. So what I want to do then, I want to adjust this so that first I just want to click a button or a link, I guess. Yeah, I'm going to click a link and it will send a serial message. So in here, just come here to the end. Paragraph, and I'm not sure what that URL is going to be just yet. Communicate. And whoops. And since this is a big printf statement, and these are the multiple lines. We got to do the proper breaking for the escape of the quotes and breaking of the lines. All right, so something else I noticed too. I don't think the turn off and turn on links are quite right. You can see right here, this has the href is root / and then a query string of LED equals 0, and this is the same, root and then query string LED equals 1. But down in the handlers, we had set, where did it go? That's that server stuff. Handle root. Okay, I'm going to copy this into Notepad++ so that I can read that a little better. So there was handle root. Where did we set up the actual handlers? There's not found. Ah, here. Yeah, so see, this right here, this isn't saying it's a query string. This is saying it's another endpoint. So that's kind of weird. I don't know what that's about, because like here, if we do the inline, right, it'll work as expected. And it says this works well, which, I don't know if you can see that. Which is what the this was doing here, right? It's just calling this function server.send plain text with a 200 okay. This works well. This works as well. And then there was a single, which calls the function single. And the function single we were working on before, looking at the different note stuff, and it was giving the yeah, we were reading the query string. So this, you played note 3, you played note 5, you played note 77, right? So the links here on the home page, whoa, it's going to query string LED equals 1 instead of endpoint LED equals 1. But even that's weird because the equal sign should not be in the I don't think it should be in the endpoint name. So I don't know. I think there's something funky going on here, or maybe the I don't know. I don't know what's happening here. But it's calling the handle root function anyway, which is the same function everything else is calling. Or the root is calling handle function, and these are calling handle function. So I wonder if I do that instead of the query string parameter. It just called, and it still just thinks it's off, which, where did it go? It is off. Now it's on, and it thinks it's on, but it called it with the query string. So I don't know. There's something funny going. Something kind of funny about this sample, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. We're not really using that part of it, but we do want to try the serial test. So what do I want to call? Let's see. These we're calling. This is LED state. And how is LED state being set? Oh, that's still just set outside. So it assumes false the first time it turns on. Okay. Well, anyway. Let's come right down here. Single note. Alright. Kind of get caught up on what I did here. Like I said, it's been about 3 weeks. So if I'm the note parameter, okay, yeah, just going through the arguments, through the query string. If it's note, then it gets the value, converts it to an integer, and then build the message. And if there isn't a note, it says you didn't provide a note. Let's see, did that actually work? Slash single, there's a note. Says you didn't provide a note. Get rid of note altogether. Oops. No query string. Yeah, you still didn't provide a note. Well, it doesn't say still, but I still didn't provide a note. Okay. Let's see. Make sure my camera is still running. Well, sometimes I have trouble with the camera staying up. Okay, cool. It's still going. Alright, so I want to, let me just do another endpoint for now. And we'll say server.on serial, and we'll call a function called serial test. Yeah. Serial test. see, that documentation was saying there was a serial object, and that is UR0. And I think that one is going to be the one that shows up in the serial monitor here too. So, let's see, use a serial object. Whoops. Oh my gosh. Begin, and we do 9600 because eventually it's going to be the Arduino. And let's do serial.send. Hello. So this small test here, I should be able to pull up the browser, go to 42.42.42.42/serial, and hardware serial has no member name send. It's been a while since I've looked at it. What is it? Ah, right, print line, right, okay. So anyway, we'll be able to go to 42.42.42.42/serial, and in the serial monitor, see hello. Probably. Think so. Hopefully. Should be. Alright, only 26%. Program storage space. Upload failed. Why did you fail to open COM3? Ports. I don't know, try again. Alright. Unplug it. Port's gone. Plug it back in. Port's back. See, was there something different we had to do? Hit the reset button at the right time or something? I don't think so. Oh, there it goes. I may have had the serial monitor stuck or something. I don't know. %. See, you can see the percentage behind the chair. 86. Alright. Reconnect to the network. And put the serial monitor. Now see, this connects at 115K baud. We'll see. Here, 51 seconds, and it was /serial. It did say hello, 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 hello. Oh, ha. So yeah, it did the serial hello, but as this is an endpoint, it didn't return a anything. So the page looks like it blew up. Empty response. Need to actually server.send 200. Let's do plain text and say Message sent. So this also gives some visual feedback on the page. And I was thinking about the actual control method too, again. And I think I've changed my mind with it being a real-time playing the piano, and I've talked myself back down to the previous idea of it's algorithmically, you know, you pick a few selections and hit go, and it generates something and then plays the pattern. That's more back in line with the original request from Tiger about needing a Wi-Fi finger to push a button. And the real-time stuff, and also using it through a web server on the ESP8266 is kind of funky because you're not using like sockets or anything, so it just seemed a little overkill for what. Oh, it says message sent because the page automatically reloads, right? So I'm gonna realize that. I'm gonna do these side by side and refresh. It says hello and it says message sent. Cool. Okay. So I can call an endpoint and it will send a message over serial. So that's like submitting, and it will calculate all the selections and whatever and submit the value over to the Arduino. And let's see. Let's try. Where's the loop? It's just calling server. I have a client. So let's say, oops, while true, let's see, what was the, not that one, or maybe it was that one. Must have lost the page. There was a did I just switch networks again? Oh no, okay. I'm gonna switch back to my live internet though. There was a I think it was using the regular Arduino serial, I think it said. So I should have read, yeah, that's right, because it said read, write, print, and print line, right? Come on. Yeah. Right, okay, so, oops. Close that so I don't get myself confused. If serial not available, and I want to, yeah, okay, greater than 0, and I want to read what comes out. that, I'm going to set a variable. I'm not sure if I can do anything after the server.send. Or if I can do something else. Because once it's sent, right? I mean, let me do a quick test here and see. I should not be able to send anything else once it's sent. See if I get all those. Yeah. Oops. Quick, close it. Oh. I thought that looked like I had too many braces. Curly braces. Okay. I don't know if this is actually going to send 2 messages. I don't think it should, because the browser won't be waiting for another response. It made the request and got the response back. So I expect this to fail and I not see message sent again. And it's been a long day and I'm a little tired, which is why I'm testing it, even though I don't think it's going to work, I guess. Let's see this. Connect. Serial. Yeah, message sent. Of course, there's not going to be a response, a second response, because that's just crazy. Right? Because if I go here and in the network tab, there will be one request and one response. Yeah. So I don't know why I thought that would be any different than what would make normal sense. So let me do, instead of trying to add something after the response, because that's fine, that's good. It needs to do that. I think though, before the response, and let's say while it's waiting, and let's see, what did character array. Whoops. How do we do that up here? Where's the LED text? No, it's okay. Just tell it it's a string and call this response. Alright, so basically, if there is any serial information available, to get that information inside of response. So let's see, I guess 100 characters long is fine. And let's see, I think I can just set, yeah, the bytes. I'll just put that here. That's fine. Oops. So if there is serial information, pump it into the message variable. Break out of the while loop. And then send the message. Maybe. Let's see if that works. Kitty cat's coming to say hi. Hello. I think she's a little camera shy. She didn't like her picture being taken. I doubt I could get her on camera here. Yep, there she goes. Oh, it's after 8:30. She usually gets her treats at 8:30. That's why she came to see me. To let me know she's waiting on her treats. Okay, so I should be able to open the serial monitor, and then when it says hello, I can send another message back, and that message will appear in the browser. In theory. So here, and I need to reconnect to the network. And it should not say message sent for this. Okay. And I'll go, let's see. It's over here. Go to serial. It says hello. It's still spinning because it's waiting on the response. Yes, this is going to work. And here I will say, Flip is watching. Well now, that was interesting. It threw an exception, which I caught in the serial monitor. And that actually looks like it crashed the site and the network. Wow, that was a serious exception. Let's reset. Come on back, little network. Got a solid light again. Not sure what that means. Is the COM port available? Yep. Alright, there's the network. Reconnect. So maybe that was too long of a message or something. I'll just try send one character. Flip says I'm cursed. Hey man, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I can neither confirm nor deny. Let's try this again. I get the hello. I'm just gonna send back an A. Nope. That exploded. And that's the stack trace. Let's see. I wonder if I can convert that into something that is readable. see. No, I'm still connected again. Or still connected, just still connected. Maybe not. Yeah, I don't think the network's really there. ESP8266 serial monitor read stack trace. Let's see. I don't think mine restarted, did it? Nope. Well, this might have been, but it would be at the higher baud rate probably. Let's see. Exception causes. Mine was what, 26? 28. Okay, that just linked back to the same thing. Exception causes. 28. Load prohibited cause. A load reference to page maps with an attribute that does not permit loads. Well, what does that mean? Alright. Oh, there's an ESP exception decoder. That's cool. Well, I'll look into that later. But for now, clearly whenever I'm, well, I don't know about clearly, but it's either when I'm sending, when I'm reading, or when I'm sending. So let me try just putting some text here. So it'll still send a message across the serial connection. And then if it still explodes, then it's not because of the serial.read. Which I don't know that it is necessarily. Serial monitor, switch networks. Let's see, Cameron. Hey, Cameron, how's it going? On your serial.read, you're supposed to be casting as a care. In one of the examples I saw, that's what it was doing. So I just did that. I don't necessarily know that that's correct. Okay. Yeah, that sounds like the right line of thinking there, because when I just passed ABC, it came through, right? So let me just put that back as serial.read. Oops, capital S, serial. And see what happens there. So, Cameron, have you done much with the ESP 8266 or 01 or 12 or whatever? I know I gave you some of those, what, NRLF boards before, but that's not quite the same, right? Connect over here. Okay, and communicate. Oh, wait. I made that link earlier, but I didn't actually make it go anywhere. Dang. That crashed hard again. Maybe it is the serial read. I don't have strings, do I? I have character arrays. Let's see. No, and Cameron says, oh, so you haven't used the ESP, but you have been using NRF and the particle boards. Cool. Yeah, you know, I had, gosh, how many of those particles? Like the 10 pack or whatever. But they were at the makerspace when it flooded, and that's that, right? I never even got to use the those 2G SIM cards that came with them for the data logging or whatever. But I don't know. So what am I doing again? Oh yeah. So let's say response and sorry, it's been a long day. My eyes are kind of losing focus there. Okay, yeah, it's off the network. Arduino serial.read. I haven't messed with the Arduino stuff in so long that I'm having trouble remembering. Let's see. Okay. Alright. I'll just copy that for now. Put this outside. And where did index come from in this example? Okay, it's just a byte. So I'm streaming tonight instead of tomorrow because Tiger and I are going to an event tomorrow at the local Rockler store. Yeah, response is 20. Some after hours VIP it said on the invitation, but I mean, I'm sure everybody that's spent $1 and gave them their email address is on there. I'll just push that in the message. But it should be pretty cool. They're doing a bunch of demos, and there's some prizes. Whoops. Care was not declared in the scope. You're right, it wasn't. I don't know how often they do that kind of thing, but I don't know, maybe I can win another Chuck or something. Really? That's supposed to be response. For my lathe, or some cool species of wood, tree wood or something. But since I didn't do last week for Valentine's Day, and since the week before I was in the garage doing some 3D design for the lathe dust collection system, I wanted to make sure to get this weekend and actually work on the Wi-Fi controlled piano player. But getting down in here, down and dirty with serial connections and server responses and all that is a lot different than the usual .NET framework stuff of the full-time job. We'll shift gears a little bit here. Especially since it's not like I'm handling, I mean, we've got some web services and, you know, done some socket stuff before, but it's not an everyday occurrence. Alright, let's see. Open up the serial monitor again. Here, site, switch site, not sites, networks. 4242. Alright. And slash serial. Says hello. Alright, come on. Moment of truth. Alright. And of course, if I send another one, it's not waiting on a response yet, so let's see. That's odd. I'm not sure why it's getting a response every time. Interesting. Yeah, there's nothing else there. Is it caching something? Nope. It is legit. Getting a response. Huh. That is interesting. Because I think. Yeah, I don't know why subsequent calls are getting that response, because the the waiting variable would be reset every time. Yes, hello, kitty. And there's nothing else. Yeah, just slash serial is calling serial test. Let's see. I'm gonna make that communicate link actually link to the serial page, so I have to type it every time. And this will actually reset the device, right, when it reflashes it. So I want to look and see if I send 20 characters in the buffer, or one character in the buffer, whatever. I'm gonna see it come back, and there might be some encoding thing or something or whatever, and that's fine. I can figure that out, but I don't expect it to display the same response every time if there hasn't been something sent back. So communicate goes to serial, and it's waiting for a response. I'm going to send back a capital J, and it responded with capital J. I hit enter. Huh. I don't know what this response means. Let's see, let me go back and go to communicate. Ah! Oh, maybe I waited too long that time. I don't know. Let's see. Nope. Huh. So it's not caching it, it's actually getting that as a response. They didn't send anything yet. That's weird. I wonder if maybe this serial.begin, it's working the very first time, and subsequent times it's called, it's doing something weird, and that should probably be up in the setup anyway. Well, it's already connecting to serial here. Well, you know what? I will just change the baud rate back and not begin the serial connection again at this lower baud rate. I'll just leave it at the higher baud rate and see if maybe that was messing something up. Now I'm out of water. Let's see, while this is uploading, let's switch back over and check on the 3D print. I believe those ships have a 20% infill honeycomb pattern. That's looking pretty good. Had a moment of panic earlier. I've got two different 3D printers, but they're both the same Ender 3. But the newer one has a mirror bed and a newer version of the firmware. So the settings from the slicer aren't quite the same as this one. So I'm still tweaking it and tuning it a little bit, trying to get it just right. And the stuff on the mirror is really cool because it makes a really smooth bass. But, let's see, let me show you something. This, I was 3D printing this dog, but clearly something went wrong. You can see the bottom is super smooth. It even, like, so smooth it's reflecting because it was printed on the mirror. Well, the adhesion is a lot different on the mirror, and the reason this got all crazy at the top, it looks like the dog's head exploded, is because it started shifting around on the bed instead of staying still. So I'm still, figuring out some stuff with the getting that tune just right. But the other parts of the dog that came out look really, really good, and the bottom is super smooth. So anyway, because I have the two printers but two different types of beds, I have two of the build tack like material beds, those black beds. And I ran a print earlier today. It was a big, like, 14-hour deal with a bunch of terrain for an RPG session on Friday. And instead of popping all the stuff off, I just swapped to the other build plate, or not plate, but the other build sheet. And it kind of had a bow in the middle. I mean, not really a bow because it's sort of flexible. But when I clipped the ends on again, the very center of it still just kind of popped up a little bit from being flexed before a few times. And so it was, I heard something ticking, which usually means the gear on the extruder that's pushing the filament through has too much pressure on the other end, and the gear is trying to push but it's not moving, so the gear pops back. And when that happens, it's either, the filament can't push out of the hole because it's too close to the bed, or there's a clog somewhere along the way or whatever. And I checked the bed, and, like, it was, the first layer was so thin you could barely see it because the center was bubbled up a little bit and the extruder head was too close. So, there's the 4 gears on the bottom to level the bed. I started cranking on them, trying to get it just right, but I went the wrong way. It made it worse and raised the bed. And I'm like, why isn't this working? Then I realized I was twisting the wrong way, so I had to go back the other way. And then I couldn't get it even, so I just started over and re-leveled the bed and all that. So I was like, what the heck is going on here? And you can kind of see that in... switch back over. Here in some of the skirt areas, where it's like really, really thin because the nozzle was too close to the bed. But, you know, I had this first set of prints come off. They were just beautiful, perfect. And started the second set, and it was like all screwed up. And I was like, oh man, what the heck? But anyway, okay, so let's see if restarting the serial connection every single time was an issue. Because I wasn't actually ending it, right? I was just going serial begin, serial begin, serial begin, without ever calling serial.end. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that was a problem. Serial monitor. And communicate. Send a J. There's a J. Refresh. Oh, I think this is going to work. Send an E. Oh, no, it's not going to work. Because this is response blank. What is it? Oh. That was weird. So, if I send A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and refresh, there's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Ha, okay. So it is stepping through each that's crazy. So it stayed in the buffer until it requested it again. Interesting. So I wonder if instead of doing this, let's see, so it's waiting, serial is available, and it is less than 19. It's going to read the character. Well, that makes sense why it's only doing one at a time. Because that's what I told it to do, right? I mean, we just copied this, so it's not like anything fancy. So really what I want to do, let's do this. Come on. Let's see if I really don't want to do things based on the number of characters sent, because I don't know what I'm gonna what all is going to be sent yet, right? It could be. Where's their tidy function? Could be oh, that's processing that has that. Never mind. It could be a single character response. It could be, you know, multiple character response. So this was actually just getting the first character and then sending that message. But then there was still more in the buffer, so refreshing the page, it said, oh, hey, there's still something in the buffer, and grab the next thing until there was nothing, and then it was spinning, waiting, and waiting. Okay, so that makes sense, why it was doing what it was doing. So how do I want to read until there's nothing left to read? this here. This was just taking it and printing it back as you typed. Which is why, in that example, it was converting it back to a character, right? Which, as you asked earlier, Cameron, you're like, is that supposed to be casting? And no, it wasn't. On our side. Because that was writing it back to the serial monitor in this example. Let me switch back to the other network. So what I want to do is this one that we copied. Yeah, this is wrong because this is just getting one at a time. Which is what we copied and is what we saw. Alright, let's do other stuff. Okay, so what I really want to do is Arduino serial read more than one character. That is not it. Let's see. What are these names? Okay. It's reading a character. That's still just based off of a single character. Okay. So that's dumping the character into there, which is what we're doing. Which is why I think this let's see. If serial is available, it's gonna be that. I wanna say else if response length is greater than 0, then yeah, okay. So if the serial is available, it's going to read it and concatenate into the response. If serial is not available, so it's done, and we have a response, then it's going to do a null terminator and actually set up the message to send the response, and then waiting is set to false. So at the beginning, when there's nothing coming across the serial, but response is empty, it's still just going to wait in the loop. Yes, that's what I think should happen. Oh. don't have a length of a character array. Get the length of an array. Not the size of. Or maybe size of woodwork. Let's see, where is the Arduino reference? Let's see. It is a character, but just look at array. This is Uranus, yep. And assign, retrieve. Huh. Where is size of? The number of bytes. Oh yeah. So that should work. Okay. That makes sense. I don't know why that guy in the forum said it wouldn't. I keep forgetting that this is a really close C variant too. Is it a C variant or is it C++? Cat's yelling at me from the hallway. Alright, switch networks. Serial monitor. Oh, check that out. I left it open that time. Configuring access point, API IP, HTTP server started. And let's go 4242. Communicate. This is hello. This is a test. This is a test. Hey! Cool! That did work. Response is this. Nice. Okay, so what did that accomplish exactly? Oh, okay. So we're sending serial communication and we're receiving serial communication. But the receiving part of it still isn't quite right because it got back a blank response. Why did it get a blank response? if serial available is 0, it's not going to go in here, so it's going to, else if size of response is greater than 0, which it must be because I'm getting this, right? So I guess the empty character array has a size. Oh, well that makes sense because we set a size. There's just no values. Where was that reference? Okay, so maybe just one step further, right? So it's greater than 0 and response 0 not equals an empty string. I don't know. Just throwing something at the wall here. Yeah, I knew it wouldn't like that. Let's see. Wrap that in there. I expect to get the same error. Yeah. Okay, so this is... Do I need to convert that back to character? No. Oh. Okay. Empty character constant. So let's pipe. If it's not equal to pipe. And up here we'll say response 0 is pipe. So if the first character in the response is a pipe, we know it's not from the sender. So don't throw the response up yet. %. And if this works, I mean, it may not be the best way, right? But I can not send a pipe as the first character. Two. Communicate. Alright, now it's waiting for a response. It's spinning, spinning, spinning. I'm going to say this is the response. I only read the first one. Dang it. Oh! And it got the rest on the second refresh. Well, the third refresh, now it's waiting again for another response. But it only got the first character. Why is it only getting the first character? Serial available should be, so it's 3, right? Actually, I don't actually know what that is. Is serial available the number of characters? Let's see. Do it that way. What do I want to do? Yeah, that's fine. Serial dot print line serial dot available. I don't know. It might not like that. We'll see. But if I type ABC, I would expect to see 3, 2, 1, and then the response. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what to expect anymore. As I float in this white void. Come on. Where's the network? There we go. Alright, so communicate. Get to hello. Type ABC. Or did I just type AB? Nope, there's the C. What? That doesn't make sense to me. Well, that is wacky. Let's see here. So 8 characters and 7654321, but it missed the first 2. I don't even know what's going on. Huh. So I'm sending a single character. It seems to get the single character every time. I'm sending 2 characters. That's weird. It's like it gets a response before I've sent a response sometimes. Alright, so here it's pending. It's waiting on the request. And I got the response. And, I mean, yeah, there's the same response, right? So, if I refresh... Why did it get an empty response? It shouldn't have got a response yet, because there's no response. That's weird. I still think there's some minor logic thing that's not quite lined up right. Because there I got. So, okay. I'm going to type A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. I'm going to hit send. We got A, B. Refresh. C, D, E, F, G, L, M, N, O, P. So why in the world... And I did see the serial count is the number of characters. But this was A and B was 1 and 1. Which, if I sent all, what is that, like 16, 17 characters at the same time, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 characters all at the same time. Oh, no, this is all 15 characters. Why didn't they all show up at the same time? And if anybody watching has any ideas, or think I should be doing this a totally different way, you know, let me know. Serial not available is greater than 0. Read a character, push it into the array, increment, and it comes outside of the if block and goes back up to the loop. It's still available. Should read the next character. Right, so let's say we type 5 characters. A, B, C, D, E. Yeah, 5 characters. So first time through, serial not available is greater than 0. Greater than 0. Yeah, okay. So it has 5. So the A gets read in and put into response with an index of 0. Then we get index plus plus. Then out of the if. Come back. B. Same thing. C. Same thing. D. Same thing. E. Same thing. Next time through, serial available is equal to 0, so it goes to the else if. Size of response is greater than 0, which it is because it's 5. Or I guess it's 20. It's always 20. And response 0 is not pipe. Then it finishes off the message. Ah, that's it. Not sure how to fix it yet, but that's it. So at some point in sending the characters one at a time through the buffer, there's some step in there somewhere where it thinks there's nothing available. So it goes to the else. Size of response is always going to be greater than 0 because we set the character array size, so that's a stupid check. Well, not exactly a stupid check because that's what's keeping it from looping the whole time. But the first character in the response array is not going to be pipe anymore because we already reset the first one. So if at any point in the process of sending the character array to the buffer, to the response, I don't know if it's a packet or something, I don't know. Oh, hey, Jody. I didn't know you were working around here. Thanks for hanging out. You have a good night, too. And thanks for the hope there. Okay, so if at some point the serial dot available is equal to 0 in between the characters being sent, it's going to fall into the else, and the first character of the response is not going to be pipe, so it's going to print the message and stop looping, which is why then you refresh. Okay, so I know why it's happening. I'm not sure how to fix it yet. Yeah, okay, I am going to move this back up here. Okay. So maybe if there's something happening with the timing so fast, maybe just need a simple delay. tenth of a second. Maybe that solves all the problems. Because clearly there's a break in there somewhere where it doesn't see the a value available. Alright, upload complete. Network is available. Alright, communicate. It's waiting for a response. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Refresh. This is response. This is response. Huh. This might have done it. Refresh again. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. A through T. So let's try Z, W, X, Y, B, U, T, S. Oops, at the W. Wow. Y, X, W. R, Q, P, O, N, M, L, K, J, I, H, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. There's 26 letters. I would expect... Huh. I don't know what's going to happen because the response rate is only 20 characters. Maybe it'll stop at G. Let's see. Oh, no, it got the whole thing. Well, that was cool. Oh, okay, so it doesn't really care how long the array is. I guess. It just crammed everything in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 44, 45, 50. So, 50 character string. Bye, kitty. Cat's freaking out. So let's see, that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Ah, that's all it was. Jeez, just needed a delay because it was going too fast for the response buffer. Or serial available. Whatever was available in the serial from the buffer. Wow. Okay. What? Say. We have a bunch of stuff here. Refresh again. Just send like a paragraph worth of stuff. It might take it a minute to loop through it all because we're delaying, a 1/10 of a second for every character. Which is why it took 5 seconds for the 50 character string to come through. And I don't even know how much information I just now sent. I wonder how short of a delay we could do instead of a 1/10 of a second. Maybe a 100th of a second. Yeah, that crashed. Sorry, little buddy. Ooh, but I think it rebooted itself. Actually, I don't know what WDT reset means. Automatic reboot after WDT reset. Oh. It rebooted into bootloader mode. Interesting. So this is saying GPIO 15, 0, and 2 can make it go into bootloader or sketch or SDIO mode, which is not used for Arduino. I don't know what that means. So 0 and 2 need to have 3.3, but 0 didn't. Isn't 0 the LED? P8266 pinouts. GPIO 0. That's weird. Oh. IO index 3. I don't know what that means. Okay, because the Node MCU, you can address the GPIO pin numbers or the different IO index assigned to each pin. So IO index is 3 for GPIO 0. And I think, wasn't the LED pin we were looking at up here? D0, which is GPIO 5. But LED built in. Oh, that's not handle root though. But still, what pin is that? This is pin D0. Which is 16. Okay. Oh, there's GPIO 0, D3. So... Alright, well, I'm not going to add a resistor to this mess right now. I'm just going to hit reset. And then I'll come back. So the network is back up. So that was taking a really long time because it was a 1/10 of a second for each character that went by. So I want to change that to like 100th of a second and see if that'll... Excuse me. Be quick enough. Or slow enough? you doing, cat? Oh. My cat found a piece of string. She was running over and pouncing and running off. She's pretty vicious when it comes to strings. But if you see a bug, she's gonna run the other way. Unless it's a cricket. But she doesn't hurt it, she just wants to be friends. She'll play with it, push it around, but doesn't actually kill it or eat it or anything. Crazy cat. Alright, network's back up. Reconnect. Communicate. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. So in theory, this will be the delay of 1/100th of a second. We'll slow it down enough so that it catches everything in the array. Yes. And it was fast enough that we didn't really notice because that was 26 characters at 100th of a second, so it was still, you know, pretty quick. So what if grab this text again. We're gonna do just that one paragraph of text. Refresh that. Hit send. Crashed again. Is there something funny in there? There might be a... I don't know, maybe it doesn't like the parentheses or something? That doesn't sound... Ouch. Stab myself with the... with the pin headers. Up. Connected to the network. Reset again. The LED turned off. Okay, back up. Communicate. It's waiting. Why isn't the COM port communicating now? Or the serial monitor not communicating now? Unplug it and plug it back in. Communicate. Hi. How are you? How long is that? two characters. Blew up again. Hey, but it restarted itself. So what was it? Exception 9. About that. It made it blow up. I don't have the exception list open anymore. Let's see. Could it have been in parentheses? Let's see. Something. Nope. Well, maybe it really was the length. I wonder what the maximum character array length is. Maximum character array length. 262. Well, and that's on Dumile Nove. So I guess node MCU, maximum character array length. Not really doing a conversion, but let's go. Yeah. Lauren Ipsum. Is it .com? So a friend of mine is a runs an a label in Atlanta, but also created a Lorem Ipsum generator using Lauren Ipsum. That's a famous producer, I guess. Let's see, text with Latin filler. Let's see, subscribe. Not sure how much that is. We'll see. Flip back over. Waiting for a response. That was too long, I guess. Let me cut that about in half. Anything? Try resetting it again. You know, this is a similar problem I've had with other ESP8266 projects I've messed with, where like it'll seem like I'm getting some progress, and all of a sudden it's like 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. There. potatoes. I like cheese. Oh, well, it seems to be taking a longer string. I like beans with bacon. Network change. I like beans with bacon. Connection reset. Now, I sent a 50 character string earlier. Huh, well that's 57. Let's try sending, I'm going to send 50, then I'm going to send 51. Am I still connected to the network? Yeah. But the site's down. Can I ping it? Nope. But I'm not sure if I could anyway. I mean, I should be able to, right? Because it's an access point. And I am able to hit the site directly on the IP. Yeah, so I can ping it. That's 50 characters long. So 50 character long string. Should only take half a second to process that. Unless the serial monitor wasn't actually connected. Okay, so that's 50 characters. So let's try 52. Nope, that worked. What? Okay, so it's not that the length of the array was too long. 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. That made it reset itself. Oh goodness. Excuse me. Oh. Well, when it reset, it dropped the connection, of course. So I switched networks. Yeah, so that, ooh, cool. So there was a lot of stuff left in that buffer because I had set high more than once, and it took the carriage return. That's cool. Well, I mean it's just print line, right? So I sent two different responses. Ooh, does that mean? Hello there, my friend. I hope you are having a wonderful day. Mine is going okay. Thanks. Hit refresh. Do I get all of that? Nope. It exploded. Just look at those exception codes again in a bit. Serial is connected. Oh, weird. So, interesting. Okay, so check this out. I have this ping running, right? And it's hitting 42, 42, 42, 42. And we saw the Node MCU explode, figuratively. And you see all the request timeouts. Now suddenly it says reply from 192.168.4.2. Destination host is unreachable. Which means, I bet... Come on, get out of that. What is my IP? Huh. The default gateway is 4.1, and up here where I specify 4.2.4.2.4.2, it says the default IP is 192.168.4.1. Crazy. So whenever the ESP8266 hit that exception and restarted itself, I guess it didn't actually pick up the specified IP. I wonder if I go to 192.168 4.1 if I'll get the site. Come on. 192.168.4.1. Okay. I didn't. But that is what told me the destination was unreachable. No, I can't ping that either. I don't even know what's happening. But clearly whenever it crashes, it crashed hard. And it did not grab this IP that's specified any longer. Huh. Wait, the reply is from .2. Oh, that's my own machine, right? Yeah. I'm not crazy, right? There's nothing there. Right, yeah, there's nothing there, because this is my machine. Okay. Alright. Well, I think I'm going to have to end it there. So clearly there's some limit that we're hitting that is causing the ESP8266 to hit some kind of a I don't know. It's thrown an exception, right? What was exception 0? Look that up real quick. I closed everything, didn't I? It's P8266. Exception causes. Oops. Come on. Disconnect that guy. Illegal instruction. Yeah. Okay. So there is something going on there with the maybe it's linked to the character array, maybe it's I don't know, something inside the loop that's happening because of the link to the character array or something. But it seemed I could consistently get 50 characters. So if that's still a pretty big possibility with using a mask or you know, like base 36 numbering system or something, right? So A through Z, lowercase n capital, and 0 through 9, that would be what, 52, 62, yeah, so like base 62 or whatever, times 50. I don't know, now we're just getting crazy. What would that be? 26 plus 26 plus 10, 62 times 50. So a possibility of 3,100 a value from 0 to 3,100 in a 60 character string or 50 character string. That's a lot of options for only having, you know, 8 key presses along with some other information. And like I said before too, I wonder about, not yet, but maybe in the long run being able to accept a MIDI file and, you know, processing that because it has the note lengths, tempo, the, you know, which note to play, all that kind of stuff. So as long as the MIDI file was written within the same number of notes, then being able to just import the MIDI file and telling it to play, and it played across. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, I think a 50 character string is more than enough for what we'll need for, you know, 8 or 10 fingers to play a piano. Cool. So there was a lot of research going on tonight. What exactly did get accomplished here? The let me switch this. You can see the 3D print still going on. What was accomplished? The ESP8266, based on a call to an endpoint, can submit serial data, can send communication across a serial connection, and wait for a response to come back, and then also act on that response. At this point, the only thing it did was print the response back out, but there could be other logic after that too, right? So, I don't know, maybe it could send chunks of information at a time and wait for the request for more, or whatever. So that's good. Communication in and out of the ESP8266. So next week, I think I'll break out one of the Arduinos, and we can do a little code on that side, and actually get the hardware talking to the hardware, instead of the ESP8266 talking to the serial monitor. Um, then we'll still have to figure out the interface for the web page, because right now that's just that sample web page that I've just been adding endpoints to, right? Clearly that looks nothing like anything that this end product will look like at all. But at this point, I think even without requiring an Arduino, I could probably in a few hours put together Tiger's Wi-Fi finger. The code for the ESP8266 would be a little bit different because we'd want it to be able to connect to an existing network. So maybe I couldn't yet, because there would still need to be something on the server side, or have some kind of a server side for that to dial out to, because unless you want to like expose a IoT device to the internet, which is probably not the best of ideas directly anyway, right? So if my home network's IP was 90.90.90.90 and I just go to that in the browser on any machine or on my phone or whatever, getting the ESP8266's web page interface would not be a very good idea. Yeah. So that may be a little bit of a divergent bit of code there, to have an actual server-side component somewhere that you log into a web page. I mean, which is basically what all the other, like even the what is this, the sawn-off Wi-Fi smart switch stuff does, right? You just use an app. You log into your account with an app versus logging into a website, and you could probably, there's probably a website to log into for that as well. I'll have to think about that a little more and see. But besides that tiny part, I feel like at this point, for an on-the-network solution, having the ESP8266 trigger a GPIO pin based off of a button click in the browser that would then cause a motor to rotate forward, 30 degrees and then back 30 degrees to push a button is completely doable. So, but that other part with security and availability is also a requirement. So, spoke a little too soon thinking that maybe we were there. So, but that is sort of the divergent point in the two projects that are spawning from this, right? One is just the piano player thing, which is its own private network, and the other is an actual IoT device that needs to be properly secured. So, interesting. Well, that's going to be it for tonight. It was a little late getting started, but we went over a little, over the 2 hours, so I feel like that's okay. But again, I'm not certain it's late since it was a day early, but anyway, I'm going to head to bed. It's 11 p.m. here. Let's see, this print probably has another, I would guess 8 hours to go, maybe. I think it's printing out, how many ships are there? 1, 2, 3, let's see, there's 3 of the Marauders, the shuttle, the other sort of scout ship, the sort of, I guess, cruiser, and the frigate. So yeah, there's 7 ships, and that big one right there is pretty tall. So yeah, there's probably another 8 hours or so, and there may be 10, I don't know. So that's just gonna run overnight, and maybe I'll post some pictures on Facebook or something once it's done. So anyway, thanks for hanging out, guys. Cameron and Jody and Flip and anybody else that was out there lurking. I don't know who you are if you don't say anything. Maybe that's what you intend. I don't know. But thanks everybody for hanging out. If you're watching this in my future, which is now your present, thanks for checking out the video. If you like what you see, please like, subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you like what I'm doing or think I'm doing something stupid, let me know. Not gonna hurt my feelings. You know, I like critical feedback, or I guess constructive criticism is what I mean. So anyway, yeah, have a good night, and I will talk to you later.